Hello, this is Fibonacci here, and today we are going to do the second part of the 1.7.10 modding tutorials. By the way, there is an Minecraft 1.8 SDK out right now that I would be able to use. However, I am still trying to get around how to use it so far. Once I do know how to do that, I will publish an updated tutorial. However, not at the moment. Today, we are going to be working on adding basic blocks and items. However, in order for us to get started and to lay some groundwork for the beginning, we have to add some other classes. For example, our common proxy and client proxy. Basically, what these do is these handle the rendering for the entire mod. So later on when we get to mobs, you'll see it the client proxy will help render the mobs as well as render tile entities like furnaces and stuff like that. Trust me, this is very advanced, but this is a groundwork that will help for other stuff. So first of all, just to make it a little better, I'm gonna rename these classes and this package to a refactor, rename, from example mod to tutorial mod. If I can spell. So they're changed there, and I am going to refactor this com.fibonacci, which is my username, dot tutorial mod. So it's gonna go there, and I'm just gonna delete that. It's really weird, but okay. So now we got this. This is all refactored and just makes it a lot easier. So we're going to change our mod ID. This is basically kind of the name that it'll go by if it's looking for other stuff. So I'm going to say tutorial mod, and it's very important. This is case sensitive. You want to keep it. I like to keep it in lowercase, but it really doesn't matter because we have this variable here. By the way, for these tutorials, you will require basic, like absolutely basic programming knowledge, not even Java knowledge, but programming knowledge, in order for you to sort of understand what I'm saying. This is a variable here that has our mod ID, so whenever we want to use this, we can just say tutorialmod.modid, and it'll automatically do that. Here's our version. This doesn't matter that much, mainly just for show, but I am going to say alpha 0.01. So this is all just basic stuff, but by the way, I might check on my older projects in order to check in order to make sure that I'm doing this right for you, because that would be a real shame. Okay, so what we want to do is create two new packages right here. This is just how I like to organize it. It's up to you. You can all have them in the main folder, but I choose to do it this way. I'm gonna make a new package called three new packages, excuse me, called main. Then client, and then server. So we want to drag our tutorial mod into the main one. This is just so that it's easier to find stuff in case of emergency. Then in the server one, we want a new Java class, common proxy. And in the client class, a new one called client proxy. So there we go. In the common proxy, you want to do what's called the method, and it's basically in order to run stuff. So you want to say public. Let me just check this real quick in order to. Hey, wait. Okay, sorry about that. I just had to find out the methods that you're using. It really doesn't matter, but this is just what I did. So we want to do public void register renderers. This can be whatever you choose. So it's going to show up gray. That's because it's not being used, but it will be in a sec. And you want to go to your client proxy, and then in this you want to say extends common proxy. There it is. And so now, if we do public void register renderers, it's gonna appear green because it's being used. And in here, this is where you're going to be doing your where you're going to be rendering your tile entities and mobs, etc. So it'll say this class is being used, which it is. So now we want to go into our main, and you want to do common proxy static. Sorry. Then below here you want to do at. Let me think. At. Sorry, one sec. Okay, here we go. So I want to say it does seem like there is going to be a lot of class creation, but this is just so that it's a lot easier to find your stuff afterward. So here, you want to do at cited proxy, which should pop up. Well, because I'm using IDEA, this is the benefit. It has beautiful autocomplete there. And I just remembered you want to put this. It doesn't seem like much, but it actually works. If you put this above common proxy, and then you want to do one sec. Then you want to do, make sure you do this exactly. Client side, make sure it's capitals like that, equals, and then you want to type the path of your client side, which is your client proxy. So what I'm just going to do is I'm going to right click. Oh, forgive me, never mind. So you want to do, we're in our com.fibonacci.tutorial mod, and then .client, and then .client proxy. So I'm going to type that out. com.fibonacci.tutorial mod .client proxy. And then we want to do comma server side equals quotation marks. Then you want to do the same thing but with your common proxy. So I'm just going to copy this, and I'm going to change the client to server and change this client part of the client proxy to common proxy. And it doesn't need a semicolon at the end. So now what we want to do is we can remove this code. This is just to show that it's working. Now we want to say proxy dot register renders, and that's going to pop up, and that's great. So that was the basic setting up of the common and the client proxy. Next, we're going to get into some actual modding. Right now, we are going to create the actual classes. So what we want to do is you can just put them all in one folder, but for the sake of this video, And for organization, I'm going to make a new package called references. Did I spell that right? Yeah, I think so. Okay, and then inside this, make a new Java class. And because we're going to be making an item first, I'm going to call it toot underscore items. This can be anything, but this is, you have to remember this name. So I'm going to create this. It should pop up like this. And I'm going to make two new methods. One is public static void load items. And then another one is public static void register items. So both of these will appear gray because these are ones that we just created and they're not going to be used yet. So first of all, I am going to create a basic item. So you can do this in many ways. The first way, you can actually you can only do this one way, with the way that I'm doing it. You have to do public static item toot item, which is the name of your item, and then it's going to want you to import it. I'm going to import from net.minecraft.item.item. That's going to appear blue. Then in here you want to say toot item, and it will pop up for me, equals new toot item, which is going to be the name of your class. It's going to have an error underneath it. That's because we haven't created the class yet, but we're going to do that very soon. And then you want to do dot. Actually, we'll just create the class now. So, inside, we're going to create one more, in the, we are going to create one more package called item, and again, this is just for organization purposes. You can have them all together, but this is the way that I choose to do it. A new class, and you want to name it that exact thing, toot item. And you want to say extends item, and you want to import that again. Now this wants to be wait. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's name this toot item underscore. Because it's getting a confusion between these two, because they're named the exact same thing. So it wants you to import it, and I just imported it. Say dot set unlocalized name, and let's say toot item dot set texture name. This episode we are not going to go over textures. We're just going to be adding it. In a future episode, probably the next one, I will show you how to add textures. Now we're gonna say our mod ID, which is tutorial mod, Oriel mod dot mod ID, right there, plus then what we want the PNG to be called. So let's say toot item, all lowercase, dot set creative tab, so we can find it easily. I will also be showing you how to add another, wait one sec, I just put in the miscellaneous tab, but I will be showing you how to create a creative tab for yourself. Then in the register items, we want to add another one. We don't want to do this. We want to say game registry dot, as you can guess, register item, and then toot item, the underscore, the lowercase one, because the one that you put up right there, comma, and then a name. So toot item. And then last but not least, until we run the game, we're going to go here, and we are going to say toot, so excuse me, toot underscore items, and import it. With IDEA, it automatically imports it. That's why it's blue right now, whereas with you, if you're using Eclipse or other, you're probably going to have to actually hover over it and click import. Say dot load items, and then toot items dot register items. There we go. So this should run. A moment of truth. So you're going to click that little play button, and it will say make at the bottom, which means it's compiling. It should pop up any second. By the way, I did get a new screen recorder instead of QuickTime Player, which I used for that first episode, because of the lag it was causing. Camtasia is a lot faster, as you can see down there. That's what I'm using. It's not really good for games, but considering how little we're probably going to be using this, what is it? Using Minecraft, we're just going to be mainly programming. It shouldn't have that big of an effect. I am sorry if it does become laggy on you. So here we go. We're going to create a new world. Creative. Not name it, because in modding you tend to create a lot of worlds, and it's not really worth it. As you can see, it's creating a world down there. It does take a decent amount. It takes the same amount of time, I think. I'm not sure. But, yep. By the way, tell me below in the comments. I recently learned how to add APIs, and I would be also able to tell you about that later once we get into more advanced stuff. Okay, here it comes up. I am going to shut off this music, all the sound. There we go. So okay. So spawn randomly. We're going to use the miscellaneous tab, and there's our item. It says item.toItem.name. And in a later episode, we will create a lang file, which will probably in the same episode that we create textures and show you how to texture. That will change it from item.toItem.name to something like music disk. So yeah, that was our item. So now I'm gonna quit out of this, and that is a bug that it's something they forgot to add in the lang file, the forge.client that shut down that internal. It should look better, but here we go. So I'm gonna see how much time we have left, and then see if we should make the blocks or not. Okay, I'm back. I decided to make the blocks because it would not be that difficult. It's almost the exact same as the items. Now we just have to create the classes again. So in the references package, I'm going to create the Java class toot_blocks. In this, I am going to say public, static void load blocks, and then do that again for the register blocks. Register blocks. Oops, it's weird, but it's not. Oh, there we go. Okay, and then in here you're gonna do public. God damn it. Public static block. Let's toot block. Import this. Net.minecraft.block.block. Then toot block equals new toot block. Again, this is our class name. And just add that there. Create a class. And I'm going to create it in a new package, which will be dot block. And doing this, it'll create it automatically. I think. Yeah, see, it created a new block, a new class. And there is an error there. Don't worry, that is on we can fix that really easily. So what we want to do is, in IDEA, you just click this thing, and it'll create the constructor. But in Eclipse, you'll just hover over it and click Create Constructor. And it's taking a little bit. There we go. So I'm just going to rename this to Material M. And then in the two blocks, that should solve. But we need to state the material we want it to be made of. I'll go into this further if you want. But so let's say we want it to be made of. This basically says if it's like hard or it can be broken with an axe. Let's just say wood for now. And then, oh yeah, we're just going to go back to this class, and instead of say protected, say public. This is your block class, by the way. And that should solve. Okay, and then you want to do dot set block name. This is kind of like the unlocalized name. You want to say toot block, and then dot set block texture name. Tutorial mod dot mod ID plus. Oh, excuse me, I did mess one thing up. You want to add that semicolon there, then toot block, and let's say dot set creative tab. Oops, creative. Pop there, dot misc again. Okay, that's there, and then we are going to just register the block. Toot. Yep. Duh. What the hell am I doing? God damn it. Game. Registry dot register block, as you can guess. Toot block, comma, toot block. Okay. Don't forget a semicolon there. And real quick, I'm just going to add that semicolon there in the item thing. Okay, it shouldn't matter because we haven't implemented textures yet. Then we want to go to tutorial mod, do toot. Where's blocks? There we go. Dot load blocks, and then toot blocks dot register blocks. So there we go. Let's just run this up, and then the blocks should be done. This has been a little tedious. It's not the funnest episode. This is just the basic stuff that most people like to do. It really depends on the person. I will be having more advanced tutorials in the future, like GUI, stuff like that. NBT saving, making items do stuff. Yeah, basic. Yeah. And see, we just loaded up the world. Then misc. Oh, there's the block. Tile.tootblock.name. Next episode, I'm probably going to do the textures and the lang files. But for now, it's been a great time. This is Fibonacci. Please subscribe, comment, like, anything. It all helps. Thank you very much.